Joining us on the Mindflash New Features webinar. This is one of our most heavily attended webinars, so thank you for joining us. On behalf of Mindflash and the product team, we are very excited to present this webinar. It's a feature that we've been wanting to build for a long time, and we're excited to share it with you. We have an introduction, and you have two presenters today. There's me, Randir Vieira, and Laura Rhodes, we're both on the product team. I will run through the recent enhancements. If you have missed some of our previous webinars, this will be a quick recap of the recent enhancements that we've had. Laura will then talk about the live training feature that we've just released and talk about how that is relevant to your daily training life. And then I'll talk about the coming enhancements. This webinar is being recorded, and we will send a link out to everyone who's registered and those who have attended as well. You will get an email with a link to that recording tomorrow. If you have any questions on any of the topics that we're covering, please feel free to enter it into the question box to the right of your screen. It's in that GoToWebinar panel. So go ahead and enter your questions at any time, and we will get to the questions at the end of this webinar. We do have time for questions. So with that, let's get started. Recently, we announced this internal catalog, and the advantage of the internal catalog is that you can publish courses or series of courses to groups of users or to all your users. And once you publish them, they're available to these users in their course dashboard, and they're welcome to browse them and to enroll in any course or series that they find useful. So this is a great way to make a lot of resources available to users, but allow them to browse and enroll in courses or series that they're interested in. We have the other one that we've done is to require course passing in a series, and we'll talk about how that's relevant in the live training environment that Laura will talk about. But this is also useful in a completely e-learning environment where you want to make sure that people have achieved a certain level of competence in a course before they're allowed to go to the next course in that series. So you are already able to do that. In this presentation, you'll also get this link to the list of all the updates that we've released over the last few months. So in case you've missed anything, you can find that full list at the link. With that, I will go into the live training. So over to you, Laura.
Okay, great. Thanks, Randir. As Randir mentioned, we're going to go over the new live training feature, and we built live training to provide an answer to 3 different training issues that are facing our customers. The first was that training doesn't only happen online. It also happens in the classroom, on the job, or even on a live webinar. Examples from our customer base have included customers who have managers that follow around their therapists to home visits where they do on-the-job training and assessments. There's another customer who has flower arranging workshops for their resort employees. So there's lots of different examples we hear about on a regular basis of these important types of live training that are done in person with a facilitator. We also know that trainers are often maintaining several Excel sheets to keep track of all of this training. Those kinds of files include the subject of the training, the dates, the attendees, the scores, etc. And so we wanted to find a way to allow trainers to keep those records in Mindflash alongside their online course records. The second issue was that live training often includes assessments. There are training exercises that can really only be tested in the field. Examples of this include showing your manager you can successfully handle a phone call with an unhappy customer, or that you can navigate your company's software product with ease. These are assessments best done face-to-face. However, assessors still need to give and track scores, which means we need to have a solution for that case as well in Mindflash. And then the last big item was the fact that many programs have a blended learning approach to their training. And by blended learning, I mean that the training is composed of both self-paced, online, and instructor-led live training. This blended learning is often a mandatory package of the various self-paced courses where the trainee is given an overall score for all the online and live training they've completed. A common example of this we see is with employees who are working on, let's say, a factory floor, and they're required to take comprehensive online OSHA training, and that goes over job safety, but then they're also required to demonstrate to their manager that they can perform their jobs in a safe and efficient manner. And then this also gives them the ability to have FaceTime and allow them to ask any questions they might have. And then at the end of all of that training, both the online OSHA and then the in-person job demonstration, they're required to take a quiz in Mindflash to test what they've learned. And use cases like this are really common, where the core material is presented to trainees online and followed up by hands-on training and Q&A sessions, and then with a final testing component at the end. So with all of this in mind, we recently enhanced live training and allowed live training to be added to series, which we're going to look at. Okay, so these three issues are what we wanted to address with live training. So we're going to look at the feature in the product and how it addresses each. All right, so let's say you're holding a webinar like we are right now, and you want to track that webinar's attendance in Mindflash. So you would go to the home page and you could create a live training, a new one, using the Create New button at the top right, just like you create everything else. But for this example, we're going to go into an already created live training. So we'll go into the live training webinar, 6:15, and on the Manage page, you'll see that you can title it, and you can give important instructions for our trainees. In this case, you could have a description that gives directions or just more information about what the live training will entail. You could also attach handouts to the live training. Perhaps it's a map to the classroom training or documents you need to print out ahead of time and bring with you. In the case of a webinar, it might just be extra information you find applicable to the subject matter you're covering in the meeting. Okay, so then you've set up your everything on the Manage page. We're going to move over to the Customize tab. You're going to decide whether or not you want to score your live training. If your training included some type of hands-on assessment or your webinar ended with a quiz, you're going to want to check this box. If the training only required that the trainee attend and there was no assessment involved, then you're going to leave this unchecked. If you have a score, then you're going to have the option of setting a minimum score for that assessment. And this would enable you to set a trainee in a failed state in case some trainees didn't satisfactorily pass the live training. So in this case, we're going to enable score just to show you what the scoring looked like. Okay. So then once you've made this decision, you can also set up your certificate the way that you always do for online training. So once you've made all those decisions, you can then go and invite your trainees. So we'll go to the Distribute tab and we'll go add some trainees. And the invitation process is the same as online courses. However, invitation emails are not sent. So you're essentially saying, these are the trainees that are attending this training, instead of asking the trainees to click a link and take a next step. So we're going to invite some existing people to this. And these are just obviously test data. So we've invited them. Again, they're not going to get emails. And then we're going to go to the Trainees tab. Now, if your live training hasn't happened yet, then you're done for now. You can just leave this as it is and come back. Once the live training has taken place, and in this case we're talking a webinar, you'll need to go in here and start marking people complete. So if your webinar had a quiz, you can assign scores to trainees. And so those scores vary from trainee to trainee in this, let's say, particular example. So you're going to want to click the individual complete button. And that's going to give you a pop-up that allows you to enter a score. If you were to bulk select everybody and click complete, you would still get this pop-up to enter a score, but then that score you enter will be applied to all the checked trainees. So if the scores are different, you'll do it one by one to give them their individual score. If everybody got, 100%, then you could just bulk select and do the same thing. Enter 100, everyone will get 100. Now, if you're just tracking attendance and you're not assigning scores, you can just bulk select everybody who attended, and then click on the complete button. They will automatically be set to a passed status, and you'll bypass the whole scoring situation. And then once you're done, you're done. There's no more steps you have to take. Now, when you look at a trainee's record, you're going to see that this webinar is a completed live training, and it's attached to their all their other training data. So instead of having your live training records in your Excel file, and your online training in Mindflash, they're now both in the same place. You no longer have to cross-reference the two places of record. Instead, there's one source for this training history, which really makes things easier. All right, so we looked at a course. I'm going to go back to the home page, and we're going to talk about blended learning scenario that I was referenced earlier. And we're going to look at adding a live training to a series. So in this scenario, we have prerequisite courses, and you want trainees to take them before they come to a classroom training, and you want to give them a solid foundation with the prerequisite courses so that you can make sure that all the trainees have a similar level of knowledge when they enter the classroom. And then you can make good use of your time in the classroom live training situation with conversation, Q&A, role play, hands-on learning. So you can either create a new series, or we're going to go to this already existing series here, and we're going to see trainees who have already gone through some of the prereq courses. So on this Manage tab here, you see on the bottom right that live trainings look just like online courses, and they can be added in any order with the online courses. So in this scenario, we have the two online courses that are prereqs, and then we have the classroom training. And then, so all of these courses have to be taken in order. That's the setting we've set here. And that will make sure that the trainee can't get to the final exam, which is the fourth item here, before they're done with all of their training. And then the final exam we've added will make sure that your trainees were engaged in all the various training courses, whether they were the online ones or the in-person ones, because since from the beginning, they were aware via the series email and when they logged in that they're going to be tested on all this new knowledge. This also makes it really easy for the trainer. They don't have to have exams that they grade by hand and maintain those reports in Excel. Instead, we're putting the exam online and we're fully automating it, which means that certificates are going to be instantly issued, and all training records, again, are going to be in Mindflash in one spot. Okay, so we're going to move on to the Trainees tab. And again, the invite flow is the same as you're used to, and we can see here that a few people have been invited to the series. In this case, since this is a series, emails were sent when the invite happened. The trainees will, when they log in, they'll see that live training is listed as part of this series, but they won't be taking a course, so they'll see a message on the dashboard letting them know that this particular course is a live training. They would see any description that you've added to it with any other information that they might need to know about that live training. All right, so once the prereqs have been taken, they'll show up to the live training, and then once the classroom training has taken place, the live training has taken place, and the prereqs are done, the trainer will come in here and go to each trainee, marking them complete in the live training. Again, if there's a score in the live training, it will be counted in the series average. So in this case, there is a score. And then once they're marked complete here in the series, they'll be able to access the final exam from Mindflash. And once they're done with that, they'll have completed the series. So as you can see, we are making it really easy to track any training you do in person and also allowing you to create this blended learning program. The format is flexible. You can decide if the live training comes first and the online training comes last. It's saving you time grading assessments, issuing paper certificates, and maintaining 2 or more sources of training data. And then the blended learning approach is also giving the option of having an average of all the scores from all the different types of training you're doing, with the end result being 1 total score and 1 certificate for all of that training that Mindflash will automatically make, and they can print out if necessary, or just you'll have it in your records in Mindflash. Okay, so that is the overview of live training, and I'm going to turn it over to Randir to talk about upcoming features, and then we can answer any of the questions you guys are entering in.
All right, thank you, Laura. That was great. And just to reiterate what Laura mentioned, the 2 big benefits that this new feature offers is to have all your training data in one place, regardless of whether it's self-paced e-learning or whether it is some kind of live training, whether it's webinar, classroom-based, etc. You get all your attendance data in there, and you get your more subjective or qualitative assessment data in there as well. And the second part of it is many people are still doing paper and pencil assessments in the classroom, and then having to manually score it and grade it and issue certificates, etc. So if you are using paper and pencil type of tests for more quantitative assessment, that can also be done in Mindflash. So it automates that process, makes it much faster, and gives trainees the information and feedback almost instantly. And then you also have all your training data for live training and e-learning in one place. This feature is available at no additional charge on our Pro tier. Majority of you are on the Pro tier already, so this is available in your account already. If you are not on the Pro tier and you're interested in this feature, just let us know, and we'll be happy to show you how to add this, to get this feature as part of the Pro tier. So this was great, and we also wanted to share with you, like we usually do, what are we working on next. And one of the things that we're working on is to work on our Manage Users interface. And currently, our Manage Users interface is where you get a user-centric view of what people are doing. And you can go to Manage Users, select a single user, and see the courses and series that they're invited to, and invite them to additional courses and series. We're taking this concept of the user-centric view and expanding it so that you can not only see what people have done, but also act on what they've done. So you can, for instance, invite people, but you can also reset people from that screen itself. And then further expanding that from the single user view is the multi-user, taking action on multiple people. So for instance, if you want to remind everyone who has been invited to a course but has not completed it, across courses and series, you'll be able to do that from this one page instead of going into every course and series. So many of you have seen some of the prototypes we've been working on, and we've got excellent feedback on it. So we're excited to be working on this, and this will be available in the next few months. And we also are working on a Salesforce integration, a native Salesforce app, so that you can invite people to take courses and series from within Salesforce by just clicking on an invite button within your contact record in there. And they'll be able to take the courses, and you'll see the training data, the scores and which courses they've taken, etc., right in Salesforce. We are very excited about this integration because this allows us to come closer to our goal of helping you determine the business impact of training. Way beyond just attendance and course scores and assessment, our goal has always been to show the impact of training on business results, and this integration with Salesforce allows you to pull revenue data, case data, so many other pieces of business data together with the Mindflash training data, and to be able to see and demonstrate the business impact that your training is having. So 2 very exciting features coming up. All right, so we have lots of questions which we're excited about. So I will switch over to the questions here.
I can start because a lot of them are about live training. So the first question is, will you add quizzes and surveys to live training? Great question. So the best way to add quizzes and survey to your live training is probably to set up a series with live trainings being the first course, and then you can add the second course that has the quiz and or survey, and this will make sure that people do not get to the quiz or survey before the live training has been completed. And you would just set it up so that the order of the courses is enforced, and once they are complete in the live training, they can move to the quiz and survey. Okay, and the next question is, someone wants to confirm there's no option to run the live training through Mindflash, and this is a way of recording participation in live training. Yes, that is true. So there's not a webinar feature through Mindflash. This is a way of recording that people attended your webinar. So correct assumption. And then someone said, why do we need to mark them complete? If there's no score, doesn't Mindflash recognize that they attended? So no, we wouldn't know that they attended your classroom training or your webinar. You would have to, make sure that they attended wherever they're going, whether it's on via webinar or if they're showing up to your classroom. We're not going to know that, so you would have to mark them complete and say, yes, they did actually attend. I saw them there. Okay, and someone asked, yes, the webinar is being recorded and it will be sent out. So if you've missed any of this, you can get a recording of it. Can attendees register for a course in advance? I don't want to invite them. You can't, at the moment, there's not the feature to allow them to register for one of these live trainings as an individual item. However, if you were to create a series and to have your live training in there, you could use the public series page and allow them to register that way via the public series page. But that is a great question, and so we will take that suggestion and make a note of that. So thank you. Oh yeah, if we're creating a series and we wanted to take we want people to complete it in 90 days, is there a way to make each individual course have a separate due date? Like we want the first 3 courses to be done within 2 days and the next 2 courses to be done within 3 days. So no, there's no way to do that within a series. So you could set a 90-day completion deadline for the entire series. What you could do is invite people to multiple courses and set different deadlines for those courses, which is not exactly what you're asking, but there's not a way to set specific deadlines per course within a series. Going down. Randir, this is perhaps a good question for you, but there are many software programs dealing with similar features that you offer in your product, many in universities and schools. What makes your products different from others? What unique features do you offer that others don't have?
Okay, that's a great question, because yes, there are lots of people offering similar functionality. There are a couple of things that make us unique. One is it's almost maniacal focus on keeping things simple, and so we pride ourselves on not having every bell and whistle that you may find in other programs, but we do that to keep the program simple for both the learners and the instructors. To give you a little bit of context or data around that comment, we have 95% of our learners complete training that they start. And that's a testament to not only the simplicity of the software, but also the onboarding and coaching that we provide all our instructors as part of our advanced and pro plans to help them create engaging content that people will want to take and complete. So 95% of learners complete all the training that they start. The second is simplicity for the instructors. And there are lots of software programs that have lots of features, and the learning curve can be pretty steep, and it can take days or sometimes weeks to create and publish training. 85% of people who create training on Mindflash, even their first course, are able to create and publish their first course within a day of opening an account with Mindflash. So ease of use on the learner side, ease of use on the instructor side. So if you're looking for ways to very quickly create and distribute training, then Mindflash would be at the top of that list. And then in addition, we have really good learning analytics and reporting. And so if you're looking to find the impact of your training across your organization or across your program, we have one of the best reporting and analytics options and features. So those are at least three of the ways that our customers tell us that why they've chosen Mindflash.
Great, thank you. The next question is there a way to change an active course to a live training, or does it have to be created that way from the start? Is there a way to mark a traditional course that's complete manually on my end? No, you can't switch an active course to a live training course. You would have to just create a new live training, and then live training courses are the only type that can be manually marked as complete. Trainees, someone's asking if there's a way to see the amount of tries it took for a trainee to pass a course. And right now there is not a way to see that. We only save the last try that they did, or the last time, the attempt they took passing the course. That's good feedback and a good feature request, so we'll make a note of that. Will we be able to delete users from participating the live training? I'm not exactly sure what that means. However, you can drop trainees from live training if they didn't show up and you just don't want their record to say incomplete. You could drop them from the live training. If they only attended live training and you don't want to have them in your system, you could archive them so that you're not having to look at them anymore. Hopefully that answers that question. Is live training only available within the pro level? Yes, it is. It's a pro tier feature. Will there be a feature forthcoming for surveys within the live training, or will you keep it separate? Currently, it is not part of that. However, we did just release this, and we are always interested in your feedback and how we can improve things. So if this seems to be a feature that everybody is needing, then it might be something that we look into. So as always, please give us your feedback, because it really does drive what we look to build. Is there a way to record the training hours for a live training within Mindflash? At this point, no, but again, great feature request, so keep those coming. This is brand new, so we're very much looking for feedback on how this works for you and how what features might be missing from this. So that's also great feedback. Currently in the label, the picture questions on tests, the answers overlap. Will that be a fix in the future? That sounds like a bug. So if you would be so kind as to email help@mindflash with that, we would be happy to take a look at that and figure out what's going on. What is the advantage of a live training versus recording? Okay, great.
So there are numerous reasons that customers want to do a live training versus sending a recording of maybe even a webinar presentation. And the best use of any live training scenarios are usually the interactivity and ideally the interactivity between participants. So in a live classroom situation, it could be small group discussions, it could be role plays, it could be demonstrations, exercises, etc. In a webinar situation, it's typically interaction between the instructor and the learners. And I'd say that our preference is that anything that is a broadcast, so it is just one-to-many, is best done in a self-paced manner, and anything that is interactive is best done in a live training environment. So that's, I think both live training and e-learning have their strengths and are best used in certain situations but not in others. And so what we're trying to do with this feature is to enable you to pick the format that's right for the type of training you're trying to deliver and really use that time most productively.
I think that was the last question. Reindeer, there's a follow-up question, which is how are they interacting with you in a live training?
So a live training example is a classroom training or a webinar training. And examples of interaction would be they're asking you questions, you may be giving them exercises or case studies, and they're doing small group presentations. So there are lots of ways to encourage or even require interaction with a group of learners.
Okay, so that is the end of the questions. So I'll turn it back over to you, Reindeer, unless something else pops up. Oh, okay. Is what we're seeing now part of Mindflash? Yes, so the live training went live on the product last week. So if you are on the Pro tier, you should be seeing it.
And if there are, I know there are some folks on the call who aren't Mindflash customers now. So if you do start a free trial, we offer a 14-day free trial with no credit card required. You do get all the features of the Pro tier for those 14 days, including this live training feature. And I know there were some folks who put in some comments about their interest in the Salesforce app. If you are interested in that, please send a note to marketing@mindflash.com and let us know if you're interested in being part of the Salesforce app beta. We'll be happy to chat with you. All right. We'll also follow up in the email with not only a link to the recording for today, but also a link to our weekly product demo. So if any of you are interested in learning more about Mindflash itself, we have a weekly product demo, and we'd love to show you how Mindflash works. So stay tuned for that email. It will come out tomorrow. Links to this webinar, links to past webinars, and a link to sign up for a live product demo. Okay, thank you so much for joining us, and we're excited for you to use this feature and provide any feedback you may have on this feature or on the Mindflash product. There's a space at the bottom of every page in the Mindflash product to send the Mindflash product team your feedback, and we read every comment, so please send us your feedback. Thank you. Have a great day.